that are happening that I don't know if you'll see again. I don't know how many more WrestleManias Undertaker will be at. So, as an audience member, you better soak this one in and enjoy him while he's around. Uh, I think you have Cena and Rock, and it's two different eras colliding. You know, I think back to Hulk Hogan against The Rock in Toronto at WrestleMania 18. This is kind of the reincarnation of that. You have John Cena, who has helped spearhead the WWE throughout the last decade. The Rock spearheaded the decade before. They're both in their prime still, though. So to me, it's intriguing, and it's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
You have been part from two different eras from
Yep.
the company. You have been in WWE and you have been in WWE. Which is the difference of this?
Um, I think maybe a difference is in the pace of the show more than anything. I think the wrestling has it's more of a story now as opposed to a car crash like it was before. And both have their merits, but it's subtle, the differences. It's not a major um, it's more kid friendly now, which I think is a good thing.
I remember you in different WrestleManias. WrestleMania 2017, it was a TLC. I remember you in a lot of match. Which is your favorite match in WrestleMania?
I it's tough to narrow down to just one, but if I had to go with a favorite match at WrestleMania, it'd be against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 24.
Why?
Because you're in the main event, you're wrestling The Undertaker, and you're World
Fun
Heavyweight
match.
Champion. It's like, if you're as a kid, if you're gonna write what your dream WrestleMania match is gonna be, it's like, okay, yeah, there's The Undertaker. He's undefeated. I'm undefeated. I'm the heavyweight champion. We're going on last outside with this alien looking like contraption over us. 70,000 people there, you know.
Which is your favorite, The Undertaker or Triple H to win the 70?
Undertaker.
Undertaker.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
H, how do you feel with the induction at the Hall of Fame? How do you feel with this?
How do I feel? I still don't know. Ask me after. I think that's when I'll have a better knowledge of how I feel about it. Right now, it's still just kind of surreal. I don't really know. I really don't know how I feel about it yet. I don't know. I still, I guess, expected to be on the show. So the fact that within a year I'm being inducted. I still remember being on the bus to go to the Hall of Fame last year, and this year I'm going in it. So it's just weird.
What do you think it's going to be like for you this year as a longtime wrestling fan to say, I'm part of the event, but I can sit back and watch it rather than participate?
It's kind of nice. That aspect I'm actually looking forward to be able to, for the first time since WrestleMania 14, to be able to, I guess 13 was the last time I watched as outside of the company. So to sit and try and go, okay, let me get back in my fan boots and try and soak it in like that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to I think I'm up in a box, but to be in the audience and be able to like concentrate on it from a fan. Obviously with an insider standpoint to it, but the closest I'm going to get to being pure fan again.
Explain the haircut. I almost didn't recognize you.
Yeah, I cut my hair. There's not really a whole lot to explain.
Why?
Why'd you cut your hair?
Well, I've always said I can't grow long hair. You can.
Well, I can, but I can also cut it. It's like, I don't
It's
know.
just a different look for you.
Just cut it. I
It's a
don't
new
know. I don't know. It felt like it was time.
Just look in the mirror and say, I want something different today?
Yeah. You get to a certain point, and I always said I didn't want to be a 40-year-old with a ponytail. I was like, all right, I think it's time to do it.
Does that make you a mature adult?
No, that'll never happen. I'm still gonna read comic books, and I'm still gonna watch cartoons, and I'm still, I still jumped around in tights for a living. So I don't think I'll ever fully grow up. Even when I have kids, I'm still gonna be the biggest kid in the house.
How do you feel, Christian, being part of this Hall of Fame?
It couldn't be anybody else. I've had people tell me, our story, it could be a movie. Two kids from a small town that had a dream, and it sounds cliche, but it's all true. This is what we always wanted to do, and two guys meet in the 6th grade, and continue saying that this is what they're going to do their entire life, and then end up doing it and both succeeding at it. It really is a feel-good story. So it couldn't have been anybody else but him.
I don't know if you had a chance in one DVD of Christian. It's one match with Christian and you in Canada. You had a chance to see that match and how you feel to see that Edge and Christian.
Which match?
One DVD, not from this company. It has a special match. Like in Canada, I think.
We had a lot of matches in Canada, so I don't know. we wrestled a lot in Canada before we got to WWE. A lot. So I don't know. You'd have to tell me like what town, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, But yeah, we wrestled in front of 10 people. Wrestled in bars. We wrestled in rooms. So we wrestled a lot before we got to WWE. So there's not one in particular. I mean, we did one in Toronto for Monday Night Raw, and that was my last match with them. So that one I really remember. But some of those old ones, man, I always I don't remember what my last meal was. So it's like, gosh, you asked me to go back 19 years and remember a specific match, and it's hard.
Edge, what will happen if both of us are going to Miami Beach? And do you need a bodyguard? Or you can chill, relax at the beach?
I'm not much of a beach guy. I'm more of a mountain guy.
Okay, there are not a lot of people, perhaps.
I don't think we need. I'm not one of those guys who needs an entourage or a posse to follow them around. I'm not gonna tell anybody where I'm at on Twitter either. So, hashtag I'm cooler than that.
What's the weirdest situation you get with a fan?
I don't know. Nothing really weirds me out anymore. Once you have people ask to sign their arm to get it tattooed, you go, really? All right, sure, whatever you want to do. People show up at my door. It's a little like, okay, you might be crossing a barrier now. I'll still have a conversation with you, I guess, but let's try not doing this again. But other than that,
A lot of WWE fans like to shake your hand. What hand do you like to shake? From whom?
Paul McCartney would be cool.
Why?
He's a Beatle. What do you mean, why? He's Paul McCartney. There's enough said on that. I have to explain Paul McCartney to you?
No.
Come on, Henry. Explain it to him. Paul McCartney.
It's quite interesting. Hey, I'm Jim.
hey, but Hamburg, they got their chops there. So, they got a rich German history. I could, and I appreciate Ringo. Ringo's very underappreciated. If you listen to his drumming technique, he played for the song, not for himself.
In the video package that they did for you going to the Hall of Fame, John Cena referred to you as the Einstein of wrestling. What was it like to hear that coming from John?
I've heard it from John a lot. He's told me that just face to face before, so it didn't surprise me. But it's obviously a huge compliment. We would talk about stuff, and I'd be like, this is what I'm thinking. He's like, holy crap! Wow, how'd you think of that? And I was like, I don't know. It just happens. I ended up gravitating to something that I was meant to do. I was lucky in that respect. Really lucky. You never know if something's going to work, but thankfully I got here and realized it was going to work, and then my mind just goes. Even still, if I sit down and think about something and somebody, hey, you got an idea? And I'll go, yeah. It just happens. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because, obviously you've shut it down physically, but can you shut it down mentally because you've been a fan, you've been involved in it for so long?
Actually, I've found physically I still like to maintain, but mentally I've kind of shut it off. When called upon, I can still, start spouting off printouts of stuff to do out of my head, but physically I still like to get out and do stuff. It's like I'm still an active person. I can't stop doing physical stuff. I've always been physical, so I got to do something. But mentally it's been easier to wrap around that than it has stopping being physical. I still got to do something.
That's one last question, guys. No, we're all good.
Would you guys At the Hall of Fame, when you're up there with Christian, will you guys have a 5-second pose?
I don't know. That audience may appreciate it, but it would be an older audience that would appreciate that, and I'll be able to get a vibe for it once I hear throughout the night how they react. I think a WrestleMania audience would appreciate it, though, so there's a good possibility.
I was going to say, it's the same audience that's going to appreciate the Four Horsemen being out there, too.
Exactly. It's more of a mature audience at WrestleMania, or for lack of a better term, a smarter audience to at least to our industry. So there's a possibility.
Last question. You said you're a Lucha Libre fan. How you feel being?
That
How you feel being?
great. The whole class. I'm
The first Mexican and first luchador to be.
Yeah, that's true, but I actually hadn't thought of that. Obviously there'll be more, but I think it's fitting that he's the first. I think Santo could be. I mean, Blue Panther could be. I mean, there's so many names that could be. Rey Mysterio, I can't wait for him to go in. That's a given. But there's a whole world of luchadors that could be in there.
We remember you years ago in Arena Mexico.
Arena Coliseo.
Arena Coliseo. Why do you like Lucha Libre? Which is the difference between?
The culture of it. I love the culture of it. I love the culture of the mask, and I like the different style. And I came up with a guy and trained with a guy who wanted to do the Lucha Libre style, and I was big enough to be able to spot him for that style. Yeah. So, and Fuego's a fairly big guy. He's like 215 pounds. So you had to be able to catch him and be able to feed for these things and work right-handed. So that was always something that I was able to keep that not a lot of guys knew how to do. So when I would get with Ray, I was like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. And we could go out and do it. And Jericho was another guy that could do that because, he'd worked in Mexico. So I was always, happy to be able to do that, and like I said, just the whole culture of it. I'm fascinated by it.
Could you imagine it's being a part of a Mexican?
Oh yeah, I definitely, I think there was a time where that would have been, it was weird, the path to it. It was like I went, Indies direct to WWF, so I didn't have that chance to go there and do that. And then once you're there, and it's it's full bore and nonstop. So I never got the chance to really get in there and do that. But it would have been fun too. It would have been fun to go to Japan too, and I went to Japan, but it would have been fun to get in and do an All Japan match, or a AAA match, or a CMLL match. But it just didn't happen that way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.